Welcome to the Inspiring Tech Leaders podcast with me, Dave Roberts. It's not every day that the ground shifts beneath the biggest players in tech, but this week it did. And if you're a technology leader, or even just someone trying to make sense of where AI is heading next, what just happened between OpenAI and Amazon could fundamentally reshape your strategy. Previously, if you wanted OpenAI models, you went to Microsoft Azure, and that was the deal. That was the ecosystem. That was the gravity pulling everyone in one direction. But now that is all changed. OpenAI is no longer tied exclusively to Microsoft. Its most advanced models are now landing on AWS, the world's largest cloud platform. And this isn't a minor technical integration. This is a signal, a strategic shift, a reshaping of the enterprise AI landscape that could affect everything from vendor lock-in to how you build your next AI-powered product. So today I'm unpacking what this means, why it matters, and most importantly, what you should do about it. Let's start with the headline. OpenAI has expanded its partnership with Amazon Web Services, bringing the latest models, including advanced GPT systems and its coding agent Codex, directly onto Amazon Bedrock. Now, if you're familiar with Bedrock, it's essentially AWS's managed platform for building generative AI applications. It allows organizations to access multiple AI models through a single interface, with built-in enterprise-grade security, governance, and scalability. And that last part is crucial, because historically, one of the biggest barriers to adopting cutting-edge AI hasn't been the models themselves. It's been everything around them: security, compliance, integration, cost control. What this partnership does is remove that friction. For the first time, enterprises can access OpenAI's frontier models directly within the AWS environment they already trust, using the same identity systems, security controls, and procurement processes they rely on every day. And that's a big deal. But here's where it gets really interesting. This move didn't happen in isolation. It came immediately after OpenAI restructured its long-standing agreement with Microsoft, effectively ending exclusivity. That's the real story, because what we're seeing here isn't just a partnership, it's the emergence of a multi-cloud AI world, and in that world, the rules change. Let's talk about why OpenAI made this move. At a surface level, it's about reach. AWS is the most widely used cloud platform globally, and by making its models available there, OpenAI dramatically expands its enterprise footprint. But beneath that, there's a deeper strategic play. OpenAI needs scale, massive scale, the kind of scale that only hyperscalers can provide. And AWS brings something very specific to the table: infrastructure depth. We're talking about billions in investment, custom silicon like Trainium chips, and enormous compute capacity designed specifically for AI workloads. In fact, reports suggest OpenAI is committing to spending tens of billions on AWS infrastructure over the coming years, while Amazon itself is investing heavily into OpenAI. This is not casual collaboration, this is a deep strategic alignment. Now let's flip the lens and look at this from Amazon's perspective, because for AWS, this is a massive win. For years, Microsoft had clear advantage in the AI space thanks to its exclusive access to OpenAI. That drove Azure adoption, positioned Microsoft as the default AI cloud, and gave it a narrative edge. But now AWS has neutralized that advantage. By bringing OpenAI models into Bedrock, Amazon is effectively saying you don't have to choose. You can run OpenAI, Anthropic, Meta, and any others all in one place using a single platform. And that's powerful, because it aligns perfectly with how enterprises actually want to operate. They don't want to be locked into one model provider. They want flexibility, optionality, the ability to choose the best model for each use case, and Bedrock delivers exactly that. Now let's talk about what's actually been launched, because this isn't just about access to models. There are three key components to this partnership. First, OpenAI models themselves are now available on AWS, including the latest frontier system. Second, Codex, OpenAI's coding agent, is now integrated into the AWS ecosystem, enabling developers to build and deploy software with AI assistance directly within their existing workflows. And third, and perhaps most interestingly, Amazon Bedrock managed agents. These are essentially pre-built frameworks for deploying AI agents at scale. They can maintain context, execute multi-step workflows, interact with tools, and automate complex business processes, all within a managed, secure environment. This is where things start to move beyond simple chatbots into real enterprise transformation, because agents are the next frontier. We've spent the last couple of years focusing on prompts and outputs, asking questions, generating content, but agents change the paradigm. Instead of asking AI to do something once, you give it a goal, and it figures out the steps to achieve it. That could mean automating supply chains, managing hiring pipelines, handling customer service workflows end to end. And with managed agents, AWS is essentially saying, we'll handle the complexity so you can focus on the outcomes. Now, let's pause for a moment and think about what this means for you as a tech leader. Because this isn't just interesting news, it has real implications. The first is around vendor strategy. For years, many organizations have been drifting towards single cloud strategies, often driven by deep integrations and commercial incentives. But this move challenges that. If OpenAI is available on multiple clouds, the argument for locking yourself into one provider becomes weaker. Instead, we move towards a model-first strategy, where you choose the best AI capability and then decide how to deploy it. That's a subtle but important shift. The second implication is around speed to production. One of the biggest challenges with AI has been moving from proof of concept to real-world deployment. It's relatively easy to build a demo. It's much harder to productionize it at scale, with all the governance, monitoring, and reliability that enterprises require. What Bedrock Managed Agents offers is a shortcut. It abstracts away much of the complexity, allowing teams to move faster from experimentation to production. And in a competitive landscape, speed matters. The third implication is around cost and control. By integrating OpenAI models into AWS, organizations can leverage existing cloud commitments, billing structures, and cost optimization tools. That might not sound exciting, but in large enterprises, it's crucial. Because AI adoption isn't just about capability, it's about economics, and being able to align AI usage with existing financial models makes adoption significantly easier. Now let's address the elephant in the room. What does this mean for Microsoft? Because let's be clear, Microsoft isn't out of the picture. Its partnership with OpenAI still runs for years, and it continues to integrate OpenAI models deeply into its products, from Azure to Copilot. But what it has lost is exclusivity. And in tech, exclusivity is power. Without it, Microsoft now has to compete more directly on platform capabilities, pricing, and ecosystem strength. And that's a different game. What's fascinating here is that we're moving from a vertically integrated model to a more horizontal competitive landscape. Instead of one dominant pairing, OpenAI and Microsoft, we now have a more open ecosystem. OpenAI working with AWS. Amazon is continuing its investment in Anthropic. Google is pushing forward with Gemini, and a growing number of specialized model providers are entering the space. This is what competition looks like, and it's good for innovation. But it also creates complexity, because with more choice comes more decision making. Which model do you use? Which cloud do you deploy on? How do you manage governance across multiple providers? These are not trivial questions, and they're going to become central to the role of every technology leader. So where does this go next? In the short term, we'll see rapid experimentation, enterprises testing OpenAI models on AWS, comparing them with alternatives, exploring agent-based workflows. In the medium term, we'll see consolidation, organizations standardizing on platforms, building internal capabilities, integrating AI into core business processes. And in the long term, we'll see transformation, AI moving from a tool to a foundational layer of the enterprise. But perhaps the most important takeaway from all of this is simple. The center of gravity in AI is shifting. It's no longer about who has the models. It's about who makes those models usable, scalable, and valuable in real-world environments. And right now, AWS has made a very strong move in that direction. So as you think about your own strategy, ask yourself this. Are you building for a single ecosystem, or are you preparing for a multi-cloud, multi-model world? Because that world isn't coming. It's already here. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for tuning in to the Inspiring Tech Leaders podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your network. You can find more insights, show notes, and resources at www.inspiringtechleaders.com. Head over to the social media channels. You can find Inspiring Tech Leaders on X, Instagram, Inspo, and TikTok. And let me know your thoughts on this new multi-model, multi-cloud world. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in tech.